There is a specific kind of silence that happens when you unlock your front door. It is the heavy, suspended moment between the noise of the world and the reality of your sanctuary. For many, that silence is immediately broken, not by a voice, but by a presence. A rhythmic thumping of a tail against the floorboards, a soft whine, the click of nails on tile. In that greeting there is no judgment. There is no expectation of who you should be, how much money you made today, or why you haven't called your aunt in 3 weeks. There is only you, exactly as you are, standing in the doorway, being witnessed with a purity that feels almost foreign to the human experience. It is a strange and melancholic realization, one that often comes late at night when the house is quiet, that this creature, this animal who cannot speak your language, knows the geography of your heart better than the people who share your blood. We are taught from a very young age that family is the ultimate safe harbor. We are told that blood is thicker than water, that these are the people who know us best because they have known us longest. But time is not the same thing as understanding. In fact, time can sometimes be an obstruction. The people who raised us or grew up beside us often hold on to a version of us that no longer exists. They see us through a thick lens of shared history, past mistakes, and their own unfulfilled expectations. When you walk into a room with your family, you are rarely just walking in as yourself. You are walking in as the quiet one, the successful one, the troublemaker, or the disappointment. You are walking into a web of invisible scripts that were written before you even had a voice. But with your dog, you are new every single time you walk into the room. They do not possess the cognitive capacity to hold on to a grudge about a tone of voice you used 3 years ago. They do not analyze your career choices or compare you to your cousin. They simply engage with the energy you are projecting in this exact moment. This is why you feel lighter around them. It is not just because they are cute. It is because in their presence you are allowed to shed the heavy coat of identity that your family forces you to wear. You are allowed to simply be a nervous system seeking safety, and they are a nervous system offering it. To understand why this bond feels deeper than biological kinship, we have to look at the psychology of attachment and the concept of unconditional positive regard. In human relationships, especially familial ones, love is almost always conditional, even if we pretend it isn't. It is conditional on behavior, on achievement, on adherence to social norms. As children, we learn very quickly that to receive love, we must perform. We must smile for the camera. We must get good grades. We must not cry too loudly or be too much trouble. We learn to fracture ourselves. We hide the parts of us that are messy, angry, or sad, because those parts threaten our attachment to our caregivers. This creates a fundamental loneliness, a feeling that if they knew the real me, they wouldn't love me. Your dog, however, dismantles this fear entirely. They see you when you are sobbing on the bathroom floor at 2 a.m. They see you when you are dancing in your underwear. They see you when you are paralyzed by depression and haven't showered in 3 days. And in none of those moments do they withdraw their affection. In fact, they often move closer. They offer a physical closeness that human beings often struggle to provide. This is what psychologists call attunement. While your family might try to fix your sadness with advice or dismiss it because it makes them uncomfortable, your dog simply sits in it with you. They do not ask you to change your emotional state to make them feel better. They become a container for your emotions, absorbing your grief without collapsing under it. This is a profound form of healing that most of us spent our entire childhoods craving but rarely receiving. There is also the matter of the emotional mirror. Human beings are terrible mirrors. When you look at your mother or your father, you are often seeing your own anxieties reflected back at you. If you tell your parents you are struggling, their reaction is filtered through their own fear for you, their own guilt about their parenting, or their own need for you to be okay so that they can be okay. The conversation becomes about managing their reaction rather than processing your feelings. You end up comforting them for your own pain. A dog operates differently. They are biofeedback machines. They read micro-expressions, pheromones, and heart rate variability. They respond to the truth of your body, not the lies of your words. You can lie to your family, you can put on a smile, say I'm fine, and they will often believe you because it is easier for them to believe you. You cannot lie to a dog. They smell the cortisol spiking in your sweat. They hear the slight tremor in your breath. When you are anxious, they may pace or nudge your hand. When you are sad, they rest their head on your knee. They are responding to the raw data of your existence, not the carefully curated presentation you offer the world. In this way, they validate your reality. They confirm that yes, you are hurting, and yes, I am here. That validation is often all we ever wanted from our parents, simply to be seen, not fixed. This dynamic speaks to a deeper tragedy of the human condition, the limitations of language. We place so much weight on words. We think intimacy is built through long conversations and shared stories. But words are also walls. Words are used to manipulate, to conceal, to gaslight. How many times has a family member said, "I love you," while their actions screamed indifference? How many times have words been used to minimize your experience? You're too sensitive, or it wasn't that bad. These words create a dissonance in our minds, a gap between what we feel and what we are told is real. Dogs exist in a pre-verbal state of honesty. Their communication is entirely analog. It is posture, eye contact, touch, and sound. There is no subtext. A growl is a growl. A wag is a wag. A head on your lap is a declaration of trust. This simplicity is incredibly soothing to a brain that is exhausted from overanalyzing the complex, layered, and often passive-aggressive communication styles of a dysfunctional family system. With your dog, you can retire your inner lawyer. You don't have to defend your case. You don't have to explain why you serve to take up space. You just are. Consider the concept of the shadow self. Carl Jung described the shadow as the unknown dark side of the personality, the traits we repress because they are unacceptable to society or our ego. In a family unit, the shadow is often policed heavily. We don't do that in this family. Stop acting like that. The family system relies on everyone playing their assigned role to maintain equilibrium. If you step out of that role, if you show your shadow, the system attacks you. But your dog loves your shadow. They are creatures of instinct, driven by the very things we are told to repress: hunger, play, sleep, territory. They do not judge your laziness. They join you for a nap. They do not judge your messiness. They live in it. They do not judge your aggression. They understand the need to protect oneself. In the eyes of your dog, your shadow is not a defect. It is just another part of the pack. This acceptance allows you to integrate those fractured parts of yourself. When you are with your dog, you are whole. You are allowed to be a creature, an animal, rather than a performance of a human being. This is why the loss of a dog is often more devastating than the loss of a relative. It is a taboo subject, one we whisper about in shame, but for many it is true. When a difficult family member dies, the grief is complicated. It is mixed with relief, anger, regret, and the mourning of a relationship that never quite worked. It is a cerebral grief, but when a dog dies, the grief is pure. It is the loss of a constant, unwavering source of safety. It is the loss of the only witness who saw you without filters. It is the loss of a secure base. We must also talk about the nervous system and co-regulation. We are pack animals. We are designed to regulate our heartbeats and stress levels in the presence of safe others. For those who grew up in chaotic or emotionally distant homes, family does not signal safety to the nervous system. It signals threat. Walking into your childhood home might trigger a fight or flight response, tight shoulders, shallow breathing, a hypervigilance to the moods of others. This is a physiological rejection of the environment. Contrast this with the physiological effect of a dog. Studies have shown that simply gazing into a dog's eyes releases oxytocin, the love hormone, in both the human and the dog. This is the same hormone that bonds a mother to her infant. Petting a dog lowers blood pressure and reduces cortisol. Your body literally recognizes the dog as a source of biological peace. Your dog is walking therapy, a mobile safety unit that anchors you when the rest of the world feels like it is spinning off its axis. They provide the secure base that attachment theory tells us is necessary for exploration and growth. Because you know they are there, waiting for you, you are able to go out and face the world. There is a profound sadness in realizing that you may never have this level of simplicity with your parents or siblings. We spend decades trying to explain ourselves to them, trying to find the right combination of words that will finally make them get it. We write letters we never send. We have imaginary arguments in the shower. We hold on to the hope that one day they will look at us with the same total, unencumbered acceptance that we see in the eyes of a golden retriever. But hard truth, the one that sits heavy in the chest, is that they may not be capable of it. They are trapped in their own traumas, their own limitations, their own human blindness. The dog is not a substitute for a family. The dog is a revelation of what family was supposed to be. They are a lesson in how to love. They teach us that love is not a transaction. It is not about what you can do for me, or how you make me look to the neighbors. It is about presence. It is about the simple act of staying when things are boring, staying when things are scary, staying when the person you love is not at their best. Perhaps the reason we feel so deeply understood by them is that we project our own inner child onto them. We take care of them the way we wish someone had taken care of us. We are gentle with their fears. We make sure they are fed and warm. We forgive their accidents instantly. We speak to them in soft, cooing voices. In loving a dog, we are often re-parenting ourselves. We are acting out the dynamic of unconditional love, proving to ourselves that it exists, that it is possible, even if we didn't receive it in the way we needed. We become the safe harbor for them, and in doing so, we learn that we are capable of creating safety. So, if you feel a pang of guilt because you prefer the company of your dog to the company of your blood relatives, let that guilt go. It is not a betrayal. It is a survival instinct. You are gravitating toward the light. You are moving toward the source of love that does not ask you to destroy yourself to receive it. The silence of the house is not empty when they are there. It is filled with the quiet, steady rhythm of a bond that predates language. A bond that says, I see you, I know you, and I am not going anywhere. In a world that constantly demands you to be more, to be better, to be different, the dog asks only one thing of you, to be there. And perhaps, in the end, that is the only understanding we ever really needed.